On today's Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery, we are asking you to broaden your mind, expand your horizons, because a lot of folks that you want won't be there. I'm going to talk to Brad Rowland from Locked On Hawks. He covers all things Atlanta Hawks for us here on the network, and some expectations and where can Kyle Pitts get better for this season. All of that, it's Locked On Sports here, Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.
This is Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome to another edition of Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta. We ask you to head over to YouTube, youtube.com, put in Locked On Sports Atlanta in the browser. Hit that subscribe button when you find it. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about the show. By the way, big thank you to everybody. We are up and over 1,000 subscribers. We're pushing toward 1,050 subscribers already and barely a month up. And we really appreciate everybody being a part of the community. Thank you so much for letting this thing grow and just keep on telling. Listen, I always say, tell 10,000 of your friends, right? Let's get a whole bunch of subscribers. Thanks for being part of the network. And of course, follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. We've been talking a lot about the Hawks offseason, and coming up, we'll talk to Brad Rowland, who is our host for Locked On Hawks, and get his thoughts about where we are. But the message I want to send to all of you is I need you to broaden your horizons, and I need you to think outside the box, okay, for a couple of things. So we've talked about, I really do think that the Hawks are going to make a big-time run at a real star in the league, okay, that they're going to shoot their shot at somebody who is a top-tier type of player. Maybe not the best player in the NBA. I mean, Giannis isn't available. Joker's not available, but you understand what I mean. A guy who is a high-level player, okay? Because that's what this team needs. This team needs another star. It's a star-driven league. You have to accumulate stars. You spend money accumulating stars, but you have to have those guys. Fair, unfair, whatever like that. Again, you can talk about the Pistons in that one single solitary year where they didn't have multiple superstars. Outside of that, you got to have stars in this league. And I think the Hawks are going to be in the business, trade, free agency, things like that. But it keeps coming back to the conversation of who, right? I'll give you an example. Yesterday on my Twitter feed, a couple of guys were going back and forth or whatever like that after I talked about Donovan Mitchell being a no-brainer. I don't want Ben Simmons. I'm open to, like, if we want to make a run at Kyrie. But, for instance, the guy had 3 names on his list. Okay, he said, well, I'd really like Zach LaVine. Okay, I've explained this 20 times. Why is Zach LaVine leaving Chicago? Number one, the Bulls have the bird rights to him. They can pay him way more than any other team in the league. He's an emerging superstar who's now part of a good organization that has turned the corner. Why would he leave? There's no reason for him to leave Chicago even as an unrestricted free agent. He'll most likely sign. Then he had on there Bradley Beal. Okay, the Beal's got an opt-in. The Wizards by and large are not trading him. He wants to be there. They haven't had a desire to trade him. Again, it sounds good, but he's not going anywhere. And then the other name he put on there was DeAndre Ayton. Okay, Ayton's a restricted free agent. We went through this with John Collins last year. First of all, why would the Suns want DeAndre Ayton to leave? He's part of their core of Chris Paul and Booker. They were in the finals last year and about to, make another run and maybe even win the NBA championship this year. And Paul's only going to play 2 or 3 more years. Why would they let Ayton go? And he's a restricted free agent. They can match anything that somebody throws out there. So, again, I understand that it sounds good to throw a whole bunch of names in. And people were like, oh, well, if we get Donovan Mitchell, we're not going to be good to. Okay, but if he's available, you have to make that run at him. Everybody wants the perfect player, right? We need to be better defensively and a scorer. Okay, well, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan aren't in the league anymore, folks. Those guys aren't running around. Giannis isn't available, right? Joker's not available. Those guys, those guys aren't going. They're not available. You have to work within the realm of what could be possible. Why do I bring up, for instance, like Kyrie? Why did I bring that up? Because the Nets lost a whole bunch of money. They still have Ben Simmons, who they're probably going to not be able to move, who's got $100 million still owed to him. You're stuck and tied with him. Irving's in an opt-in. If you're going to try to get your franchise back on track, it may make sense that the Nets don't decide to extend Kyrie, right? I mean, there are reasons for this. Donovan Mitchell most likely wants to stay in Utah, and I'm telling you, he probably will. But there are some rumors out there that he may not be happy. And that's sort of what it takes, is to get one of those guys open and available. A team doesn't want you, or you don't want to be with the team. And they're dynamic. Even James Harden, part of the trade with Harden was that he had to agree to his opt-in year. Well, hell, that's $47 million. Whether you like Harden or not, it's a ton of cash, but that was part of the deal. So worst case is Philly has him, or at least he's got the opt-in and he's not a free agent and they could trade him. But again, all indications are they want him to stay there. My point is, you have to expand your horizons. We get in this mythology and this fairy tale land about, well, we'll just go get Zach LaVine. Well, the reality is he's not leaving Chicago by and large. Like, why would he leave the Bulls now? And why would the Bulls let him walk? We could give him more money than anybody. Why would he leave? And that's the thing I need you to understand, is when we start talking about free agents and trades and this, that, and the other, what's real and what's not real. First of all, I don't want Ben Simmons, and I've said that, on here. I'm not making a trade for him. I'm sure the Nets would gladly probably trade him if somebody wants him. I don't want him. It doesn't fit what I need to do. I don't need an Instagram model diva on my roster that doesn't know if he wants to play or not and decided to wait until the offseason to have back surgery when he could have done this 6 months ago. I mean, no. Yeah, that would be a guy that the Nets would probably much rather trade Ben Simmons and keep Irving. But I want you to expand your horizons about who is and who is not a realistic target. There's a lot of names that you think are going to be available that at the end of the day aren't. And you have to be willing to roll the dice, because you're not going to find that perfect player. You're not finding a guy that fits everything that you want, or else, again, those guys are with their teams, right? Giannis is a Milwaukee Buck because he got the Supermax deal, right? And earned $50 million a year. One leaving Milwaukee because they could give him more than anybody. So keep an open mind. There's going to be some names that you don't like, and a lot of the names that you do like aren't even really on the marketplace. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to Brad Rowland from Locked On Hawks, get his thoughts about where we are with the offseason, Tony Wrestler's mindset. We got a lot of stuff to dive into with Brad Rowland. It's all next. It's Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.